Hello, and welcome to my Endless Space 2 guide, the guide to assist beginners, people who've never bought the game before, to help them kind of understand and be able to enjoy the game at a very basic level at the very least, because this game is definitely worth your money, and you should not be scared of how complex it is, and I want to help you with that. So this guide is guide number 6, and the topic is diplomacy for both minor and major civilizations. So here I have a so-far playthrough I just started because I wanted to show you guys this one. So I'm going to start with minor civilizations. When you start a game, you explore, just as I did, throughout your whole node of the galaxy. And depending on how many nodes you have and what you tweak with the minor civilizations, you should have one minor civilization on your galaxy node every time. Which one you get, though, is completely random. So this time, I got the Bagaba. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. So when you click over here, you have all your different actions here. You use influence, right? So I just started, I don't have a lot of influence, but you use influence to interact with these people. So I just met them. I got this tech, off-road agribusiness. Some civilizations start with it. So far do not. So I just, researched it. Oh, here we go. Just seeing their system really quick, but I don't care about that. I want to see this. So with each influence point, I can do different actions. So if I want to peacefully assimilate them, I can praise. I can do one of two things. I can either assist, where they give me a quest and then I do it, which could be very easy or it could be very difficult, or I can just praise. And praise just costs influence. It starts, I think it was 25 it was, and as you keep doing it, it becomes more and more expensive. This here shows how much it goes. It's only +3, what is this, relation? What is this called? Good or bad? Anyway, I think relation. So when it gets to 100, then you get to go. A little button appears down there, and it says Assimilate. And basically, what that means is you just take their system, and it turns into one of your own. All the people still stay, all the population, but it is now under your control, and you can build whatever you want there. If you don't decide to assimilate, you'll still get their population. Their population will naturally immigrate into your systems, and you will get bonuses from their system. Gold, dust, food, science, etc. And you will also get any kind of resources, strategic resources, luxury resources. They'll also send you a little bit of that. Just over time. So you don't have to assimilate them, but generally you want to, because if you assimilate them, you'll get them anyway. So here, right, and the population benefits. I already showed you guys how to get that in a previous guide, but here you can also see a quick overview of what they'll give you if you gain their population, and the effects on the planet, the physical effects of the population, and what political party they tend to lean towards. So that's pretty much it with the minor civilizations. Oh, also, if you have pirates enabled, which I don't, but if you do, pirates will spawn from the minor civilizations, and that's the only place they'll spawn. They could come from another galaxy into your another node of the galaxy, from like another minor civilization. They might come into your space and start messing with you, but if you find the minor civilization, I could just have them sit there and guard, and every time a pirate spawns, I'll fight them and hopefully destroy them. They might retreat. Sometimes pirates don't retreat even though they're gonna lose. I don't really know the programming behind that one, the logic at least, but you can just sit there and blockade it and kind of farm EXP like that, which is something I can do, or I could just disable pirates, which is what I do. But that's up to me and you. And the other thing I forgot to mention. So I talked about peaceful assimilation using praise or assist, but there's also aggressive assimilation, where it's pretty straightforward. You declare war. You have to have a ship in orbit over them with manpower. I guess this one does. So you know what? Actually, I don't even have influence to show you guys, but it works as a normal invasion. You start, you can slowly siege it away, or you could just take them over. And once you do that, once again, the system is yours. It's basically any other system you have. The only difference is you didn't spend influence / wait for this thing to reach 100. You just went in there and punched their face in, which you can't do. Okay, and here we are now back in my Reborn playthrough, because I just wanted to show you guys quickly about major civilizations. So if you click, I kind of glazed over that. So on the taskbar here, on the far right, there's the diplomatic relations button. So you click on that, right? Diplomatic status. Sorry, you click on that, and it shows all the other empires that are in your game. For me, I play with 5, or this one I played with 5. So here are the other 4, and there's me. So I've done a pretty good job of destroying all these people. Vadiani, Lumeris, and I think those are the Sophons, but I did a pretty good job. So the last remaining civilization I have to work with is the Unfallen, right? So I just finished making a peace treaty with them. It lasts 10 turns, so now I'm technically in a Cold War. And let's see if I can find out what that... Yeah. When you enter a Cold War, it'll tell you exactly what that means. I think you can have skirmishes and battles as long as it's not in each other's territory. Or I can fight them if they are in my territory. But if I'm in their territory, I can't actually engage with any of them. And you can't conquer cities. It's just ship combat and blockades. And, if you want to fight over minor civilizations or something. So that's a Cold War. So on here, right, there's a lot of important information. There's the pressure trend and any sort of treaties you might have with them. And finally, their I can't mouse over it. I'm so used to doing that. And finally, there's their feelings towards you. So right now, they're reserved. The Unfallen are naturally peaceful. And they'll almost always be friendly with you unless you're trying to wage war on them. See, a normal civilization like United Empire or something, they will not be reserved after a Cold War. They'll be very, if I occupy any of their systems, they'll probably be angry with me. So there's a whole spectrum that you have to work with in terms of their emotions. It can go all the way from friendly, which is what the Unfallen generally are, all the way to, I think it's angry, is the other end of that spectrum, where, you're conquering their systems, you're at war with them, and they're very angry at you. And this pressure trend just represents kind of your relationship with them. Right now, we don't really have a good relationship. The pressure is negative. It'll be a little plus symbol, blue, if you have a good relationship, and then you can start talking about, trade and all this good stuff. So when I click on them, right, it opens up this whole trade menu here. Yeah, he's not happy with me. So here, right, let's put that down. Maybe not that. Dust. So this influence pressure kind of determines how they will feel in trade negotiations. So I'm in a Cold War right now, so my options are limited. I have some basic stuff. I could ask them for peace, or I could force peace upon them. I can share my map with them and have them share their... By the way, this is not a two-way street. I can share my map with them, and they won't, and they're not obligated to share their map. So if you want to ever do that, make sure you click both sides. But you see, they don't want to give their map away, so they're negative to it. Which is kind of a nice segue into this whole bar that I wanted to explain. I don't really, there's no real official name for this. I mean, I just call this the trade bar, and it just represents how they will feel about a trade. If I ask their map, even if I even make it a two-way street, you would assume it's very neutral, they don't care. but I'll make this offer, and at the end of the turn, they will say no. The other button that you can kind of work with is the suggest terms, which kind of works it out with the AI to think of a way to make this happen. So I just want to test something real quick. Right? Yeah. So the suggest terms worked it out. We wanted to see if I could give them anything to make this happen. You know, even if I'm giving them all my dust, basically all my dust, you know, with 250,000, you know, and I give them my map, they don't want to give theirs away. Which makes sense, because I'm kind of there trying to conquer them, so it's best that I don't know. So here are the terms. Influence pressure just basically means your relationship with them. But it's really this bar that you want to look out for when you're trying to work your way in trade negotiations. You know, give them a little bit of titanium, take a little bit of dust. You know, this is the bar that you really want to look at. If it's in the blue, even if it's in the blue a little bit, I'm pretty sure they'll just accept it. So before you propose an offer, you know, make sure it's in the blue at the very least, because if it's not, you're just wasting a turn. So right now, my influence kind of sucks. See here, it's 1.3k. I don't actually know how much his is. I don't care about that. I don't know how much this guy's is, but it's a lot more than mine. So when I go to trade with them, their influence is greater than mine. This is mine, that's theirs. You could just tell it's bigger. But, you know, I should have maybe left one of those civilizations with like one planet so I could show you guys. But if this bar is all the way past this area, you can write a demand. And there's, you know, some diversity about what you can demand from them. You know, resources, dust, maybe systems. I don't know if you can. I don't actually generally do this. I usually just take it with combat, but you can make demands with them if you have a high enough influence over them, which is just an interesting thing to note. And lastly, as I kind of want to mention, request alliance. Yeah, so this alliance system is a little bit silly, just a little bit. So God, where do I start? So right now, my only win condition is conquest, which means I have to control a certain amount of systems in the galaxy or something. Or I don't remember if it's a percentage or a set value. I think it's a set value. Well, it's either conquest or supremacy. Both of those are kind of combat orientated. One's controlling the capital, the other is controlling the amount of systems. So if I request an alliance and it's just me and the Unfallen left, which it is. If I request this alliance and they accept, which they very well might because the bar's blue, then the game will be over. It'll show a little victory screen saying, you know, the alliance is the last one standing. Okay, so, I mean, if you want to play it out to its fullest extent, don't do an alliance if it's just 1v1 at the end, because then the game's going to be over. I'm pretty sure you can keep playing anyway, but, you know, you'll have to break off the alliance. Yeah, so if they accept the alliance, also I wanted to mention this is when it kind of opens up all the different resources, strategic, luxury resources you can offer them, technologies you can give them. So it really opens it up. So kind of diplomacy does have its benefits, definitely. The other thing is if you, and you can also do these little agreements. The other thing is if you have an alliance with someone, it's not exactly an alliance in the sense that if I'm dying, if I'm being invaded from all angles, I can't possibly defend myself. There's a really big civilization next to me. They're friendly. If I get in an alliance with them, they won't send help, or they might, you know, after a while, or it's not going to be a lot of help. You know, it's not something that will immediately save you, is what I'm trying to say. It's less of an alliance, more of an non-aggression pact. You know, where I don't fight you, you don't fight me. Let's be buddies. Let's give each other some resources. That's more like what it's like. It's not exactly they won't come to my aid, and you know, I'm not obligated to come to their aid. I just wanted to make that distinction clear, because, you know, I lost a game once because I thought, you know, I'll just make an alliance with these guys. They're cool. They have a big military. And, you know, and just like other 4X games, you know, Civ games, people can break off alliances and just invade you. So just don't think that you're immediately safe behind this shield of an alliance. You know, if it's multiple different civilizations against, you know, a bunch of other civilizations, which has also happened, then, you know, it can be interesting. And maybe they're less likely to turn on you, or maybe they're more likely to turn on you because they're scared of you or something. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot that can happen, is what I'm trying to say here. I should also mention that there was actually news of an update to this game, Endless Space 2, that's going to be coming out at some point soon. I don't know exactly when. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's sometime kind of late November. I think the 27th or 22nd rings a bell. I don't. It could be for another game. Anyway, and in that update, there's going to be a lot of kind of stuff that they're going to be reshaping towards diplomacy. So I'm hoping this information is still going to be relevant. Maybe they're going to be adding and less changing, but it's going to be interesting, and I'm probably going to make a video on that as well, just to update anything and possibly rebuke anything that I'm saying currently.